Hello and welcome to a Talking Told podcast. I'm your host Teddy,
I'm Hayden.
and today we're going to be talking about the tmnt 2012 Season 1 Episode 12, It Came From the Depths. So yeah, quickly before we do get into this whole breakdown and review of this episode, I do want to quickly say that you don't want to get into the podcast, there are a few ways you can do this. The first one is that you can leave a comment on Reddit, on the post which I put up, or you can leave a comment on the YouTube videos, as well as the community pages, which also have a lot to do with the episodes and the podcast. And another way which you can send in a message is through the Anchor app or through the site. You leave a voice message or a little text message, and we'll read it out or listen to it. And then finally, the last thing, if you do actually want to come on as a guest, the way is to do that is to fill in the forms in the comment section below. And yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this episode briefly?
Well, this episode, I'm not gonna lie, was probably one of the best episodes by far that I have seen. I'm just saying that now because I don't know what to say. It was really good. Like, it threw me off guard, but it was really, really good. And I can't wait to get into this episode today.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll just say that this episode, I don't think it was one, like in overall from the whole series perspective, I don't think it was one of the best episodes, or I mean, the episode was really good, but I don't think it's one of the, top tier episodes. But, I think with this episode, I will say this, I do think it is the best Mikey episode from the whole show. So yeah. Okay, so with the opening scene, we got Krang. Not Krang. We've got Leatherhead running through the whole Krang base, and that's when he escapes and goes into the sewers. What did you think about this scene?
This scene, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of threw me off guard. And of course, when the Krang appeared, I'm like, I genuinely just said no. I just screamed no. Like, I can't. Not an episode with the Krang. And I was thinking, oh my god, this is going to be one of those episodes. And I'm like, yep, I'm not ready to deal with this. Not today. And then, of course, then they're getting hunted down, and then he appears, Leatherhead, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to say this now, and you're probably going to be hearing me throughout this entire podcast, but Leatherhead is probably one of my new favourite characters. For reals, this is a genuine thing. I kind of want to... Chris Bradford and Leatherhead are on the same playing field as one another, so it is really... It's neck and neck, I can say, but it's neck and neck. But this scene was really good, and it was just different. And of course, Leatherhead, we get introduced to him. What an awesome character he is, because he's just an incredible character. But I don't want to spoil his backstory, not yet, because that's further in the podcast. So let's move on.
Okay, well, I'd say that I really did enjoy this opening, as I really did enjoy this more darker aspects and a bit more like a horror type aspect with it. Oh, I really did enjoy that. And then I thought Leatherhead's introduction with this episode, just going in and attacking Krang and fighting them, I thought that was a really good way to show his character, and sort of one of the things where it really misdirects the audience as you're led to believe, oh, he's a even worse villain than a Krang. So yeah. But one thing was, how did Leatherhead quickly get on into the sewers? That's my only big question from that little scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that,
I didn't really think of that. Sorry, I didn't really think of that because I was just too wrapped up in the moment. But that was kind of weird how he just somehow slid into the sewers. Like, he's a big guy. How the hell did he do that?
Yeah. Okay, so after that, we got Mikey coming out with a piece of shake, and then watching Space Heroes. But that's when they discover that a TV reporter is showing off footage from a deadly assault that a worker got, and that's when the Turtles decided to go off and find Leatherhead, oh, in a way. So my first few thoughts is the piece of shake must be really disgusting. The space hero stuff, with Leah saying that space heroes, like the fans call space nicks. One thing which really just put into my mind now while watching the episode was the fact that turtles don't have any like name type things. You know how like like in this episode they had for space heroes they have space nicks. Then like Harry Potter they have Potterheads and like I'm very surprised turtles
Yeah, I
doesn't really
just
have
realised
anything like
that.
that.
So wait,
Um,
you guys don't have like a saying for like a ninjas or shell turtle heads or shellbacks, anything like that?
No, not really. Like the closest thing the fan base has ever got to that was in Rise of TMNT. They give themselves a different name called Mad Dogs, and that's more or less the closest things they've gone to like a name, but it's not like a known for overall the franchise, which is like really surprising considering that it's been out for I think it's like 40 years or something like that.
Wow.
Then some other things was how did the sewer worker not get badly hurt or anything from Leatherhead's attack? Because as you see later in the episode, he's like a very deadly villain. And then with the character or Toes sort of like scared that and people or news people going to come down and find the lair. How has no one found a lair already? Considering that it's on a train station. What do you think about this episode or this little scene here?
I did wonder that myself. Well, this scene, well, I'm not gonna lie, I kinda when Michelangelo came out with that pizza shake, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of threw up in my mouth a couple of times when he came out with that, and he drank it, and I joined the turtles in like, I actually genuinely said ew, and all the turtles said ew. That's literally what my reaction was. It's like ew, like just straight up ew. And of course he drinks it,
Yeah,
spits it back in the cup, and then drinks it again. I'm like, ugh! Like that is
that's
just
Mikey.
that's Mikey for you. But I'm not gonna lie, a piece of shake. Like, thankfully he didn't put any like milk or like actual ice cream in there to make like the milkshake. Because I'm not gonna lie, pizza and milkshake, they like blended together. I don't think that would be tasty. Like, I don't want to try
Yeah.
it, and hopefully I don't try it because just ew. I'm just ew. I still feel sick from just hearing the pizza shake. I'm like, but no. But apart from that, the scene where Leo and Raph are talking about the TV show, and of course they're called the Space Nicks, and that was kind of interesting to know about that, because how does he know there are hundreds of millions of Space Nicks that are watching the same show? Because he lives in the sewers, I guess. But unless Donnie's got internet capabilities or something like that to actually, well, actually they do have capabilities of internet, because previous episodes they've made the
Yeah, this is like
T-phone,
2012.
they've got the laptop. Yeah, of course. Why the hell would I think? I don't know. I just thinking it's like, how the hell do they know there are other people that out watching it? And then of course I come to realise it's like it's the 12th episode, Hayden, and they've got internet. Like, if they can build killer robots, they've definitely got internet down there. But yeah, that was funny, and of course listening to them, and of course the sewer on the sewer worker that got attacked on the TV show. That was kind of interesting, because it was kind of like you said earlier, a horror sort of thing. Like, he just appears out of nowhere. And I'm not gonna lie, if I was a bit younger watching this show and I saw that on the TV, I would be pretty frightened, to be honest. It's like the worker's getting thrown all over the place. He's getting chucked over the wall, and the camera drops, and you see him. That is just like the thriller horror vibes. But I like that sort of stuff now. That is what I like. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm surprised they put it in there. But it was really cool to watch, and it's like more, it's becoming more mature, and that's what I like about it, which is really surprising for like a children's show. But you understand it a lot more, and it's just a really really good how they just implemented it, and I just really enjoyed that little scene, and that was pretty funny to watch, really.
Yeah. Okay, well, after that, we got the Turtles catch up to Leatherhead and we see him destroying loads of Krang before he's taken out by Krang. So the Turtles decide to help him and attack the Krang and then try to take Leatherhead home. What do you think about this little scene?
This scene, I'm not gonna lie, this was like the one reason why Leatherhead is one of my other favorite characters now, because he hates the Krang more than I do. And I can get behind a person who doesn't like the Krang. And I got behind his back. I was like, yeah, I'll root for you. I'll support you. Like, 100%. So that's why he's my new favorite character, if you didn't know. So, but that scene was quite interesting because it was just really funny seeing the Krang get battered by like an 8-foot giant mutant crocodile. It's just really funny, and how the turtles were just watching back. It's like, God damn, he's going to town on the Krang, and I'm just loving it because the Krang's just getting absolutely annihilated. And if I see the Krang being annihilated, I'm happy. So that was quite a fun scene to watch as well. And of course, afterwards we see him. He's knocked out cold, and of course and then Mikey. Ugh, I'm not gonna lie, this was a proper Mikey moment. He pulls out the puppy dog eyes, and the puppy dog eyes. Why? Always the puppy dog eyes, but
Did you
that
find
was
it
just
cute?
really funny. I'm not gonna lie, it was like he had the like that with the puppy dog eyes. I'm like, okay, maybe, but of course they somehow persuaded the rest of them to take him along with, which was kind of weird how they did it. They just dragged his like body across the floor. Like, of course he's a crocodile and he can take it, but just how they just dragged his body back to the lair, all the way back, must have been a hassle.
Mm. Okay, well, I found so like with the Krang with like Leatherhead fighting them, I found that for some reason, I don't know if you noticed this, but there's only a certain amount of Krang actually attacking him in the scene, and then it will destroy them, and yet there will still be even more Krang that come. So yeah, the main reason why they didn't want to help the Krang stop Leatherhead is because of all the damage that Leatherhead was doing to the Krang. Even though when the Turtles fight the Krang, they probably do as much or more damage than Leatherhead. So yeah, I don't really understand these argument for it. And then also, Mikey, why did he expect that Donnie would have a forklift in the sewers?
That was
um,
funny.
yeah. So after that, we got Leatherhead wakes up and grabs Donnie by the face, and he starts to attack the turtles. But then the turtles do eventually calm him down in a way. By that, they execute him, and Splinter says that Mikey should try to reason with Leatherhead, get some answers, and the turtles should go off and find the power cell. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was also another good one to watch because when Leatherhead grabbed not Mikey, Donatello by the head, and he was just racking him around like a dog toy, like a dog and his dog toy, just ripping him apart. And to be honest, I was thinking, Jesus Christ, they can't rip Donnie apart. This is got to keep it PG, you know. You can't do that. Luckily, he didn't get ripped apart because Donnie's Donnie's my guy. So, and then of course, just seeing how the whole scene played out, it was just really funny to watch. And of course, there's a lot of comedy, but it's also quite serious at the same time, which I quite like. And then of course, that he gets tased by the weapon, that they use previous episodes, which I like because they're using their weaponries that they've built to slowly build up their arsenal, and I quite liked it, and I quite like seeing that. Like they're using weapons from like previous episode to combat new enemies that they face, which I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to that sort of stuff. It's like, oh my god, he's using that same weapon from episode 5 or 6, whatever, and I'm a bit of a geek when it comes to that sort of stuff. So I kind of like how they're using the old weapons that they've made and found for new challenges that they're facing, which is really awesome. And the scene where Splinter comes in, he's like, "Yo, what's going on here?" And of course, to be honest, if I was Splinter right now, and I would walk into my living room and see that giant mutant crocodile, I'd be like, okay, what? Okay, I would be like, okay, what the hell's just happened? Like, it would just be a complete different story for me. But Splinter, he's pretty chill. He's understanding. But to be honest, if I was in that situation, if I was Splinter, I'd be like, all right, you gotta tell me what the hell's going on right now before I lose it. He's trashed my living room. He's trashed you guys, and now, but that was a good scene to watch, and I quite like that.
You have to say that I do enjoy this fight. This does show more of Leatherhead's rage style, which I've grown to love over the years. When Leatherhead grabs Donnie by the face, and there's all like a thing that does become, even though the whole he grabbed me by the face thing is extremely funny, because every time I do watch this scene, and like every time every other 12 fan watches it, they always laugh. But the only thing is, which I do find a bit weird, is the fact that this hasn't really become like much of a meme. Like, even though everyone laughs at it so much, it's not really much of a meme, which I'm honestly quite surprised about that. And yeah, so and I didn't really have too much to say about the rest of it, because like, it was good. I just don't think I didn't have any questions about it, but I enjoyed the scene. Just yeah. So after that, Leatherhead wakes up, tries to escape, but realizes he's on a chain, and then he starts to talk to Mikey, and he starts to eat the turtle soup, and then also find out that the Leatherhead doesn't have a name, so Leatherhead gets a name. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was it was good. It was a good one to watch because I'm not gonna lie, after the pea shake, I wasn't thinking that Leatherhead would actually eat Mikey's cooking and just like his spaghetti pizza soup, like, is everything to do with pizza. Like, everything is to do with pizza when it comes to Mikey's cooking. Like, pizza muffins, like pizza spaghetti, pizza shakes. Like, there is other food, Mikey, besides from pizza,
It's not the
alright?
same.
I know it's not the same, but you use ingredients that make pizza, and then you've just blended it, and it's just, but I digress. But to be honest, I was surprised that Leatherhead actually enjoyed his cooking, which I'm like, yo, Leatherhead is either one, he's loving it, which he does, or my second idea that he was trying to manipulate Mikey himself as like an undercover agent, and he would like Mikey like Chris Bradford did. And of course, one way of doing it was by eating his food. And he's probably like in the back of his head, like, this tastes absolutely disgusting. So that's what I had in mind. But surprisingly, he had the whole bucket by the time we got back to them, and it was just like, oh my god, he actually likes it. I'm like, to be honest, I would have thrown up.
Yeah, I was also wondering, like, with the whole the suit thing, I was also wondering if Leatherhead was lying, just because that would just taste so disgusting, and it would seem like something he would lie about, unless Leatherhead hasn't had anything to eat.
Yeah.
And then the whole scene with Mikey coming up with a name for Leatherhead, it's actually quite interesting, just because I don't. In every other version of Turtles, there's never been a reason why Leatherhead is called Leatherhead. I mean, even though he's an alligator that got transformed, he's never really given much of a reason why he's called Leatherhead. So I guess this is maybe one reason why.
Just
But
goes
yeah.
along with it.
Yeah, but like it just seems weird. Like for like 40 years of worth of history with all these characters, and this character was nearly there from the beginning. It seems weird that he's not really had much of a like. There's not really that many stories on him or any development, and this is the first time we find out the reason why he's called Leatherhead. So I do find that a
It's
bit
from
weird.
Mikey.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so
Like,
after
'cause I
that
know
we've got
Mikey's
the other
now.
turtle.
Yeah.
Oh, no, pass this on.
Oh, it's just like how Mikey's just taking over. It's like Mikey's like he's now creating food, he's naming things, and it's just Mikey.
It's Mikey's world and we're living in it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Okay, so after that we've got the other three turtles going underwater to go and try and find the Krang power cell, only to find that Leatherhead has more or less rigged the whole sewer up to be a death trap, and yet the turtles do somehow manage to get to it. What did you think of this scene?
This was like a really, really good one as well, because we haven't really seen much of the sewers, and of course they go back in there, they explore the sewers in the different areas, and of course it was really quite genius of what Leatherhead actually did. Like, I'm surprised Leatherhead actually had like the capability and knowledge to create booby traps and like a labyrinth for the power cell. Like, that must have taken him ages to do. Like every spring trap, sign, and all that. And of course, it almost took off Raph's head. And to be honest, I thought Raph's head got taken off too, but then I realised he's a turtle, so he could just retract his head back into his body. I'm like, oh my god, they can't just show that on TV. His head's off. Like, think of the children. And then, of course, I realise he's a turtle. I'm like, oh yeah, of course, he's a turtle, Hayden. Jesus. So that was that was funny to realise. But then, of course, the scene as they're running through the labyrinth, and they are very good at dodging stuff. And another quick one as well. How did Leatherhead have the time to build like a slamming door? Like the spike traps I get, but the slamming door parts, I don't know how we got the resources to build and create such a contraption and machinery. Maybe Leatherhead's smarter than we
Oh,
know.
okay, so basically, I mean, like Leatherhead is one of the smartest characters in the universe. But I was thinking that, but then does say later on in the episode that that he's been on Earth for 16 months. So no 6 months. So that's the reason why he's had that work time to get everything ready.
Ah, that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Like okay, so with these scenes, okay, where are my notes on here? Okay, so I also had the same question before I heard about the 6 month thing. I asked how did Leatherhead build all these trouts in short time, but I did, but like, but well, I mean, well, we already got the answer to that. But my question, or my new question to that is, how did he fit in all the small spaces? Because the tunnels are quite small. Um, so yeah, and then I do feel also with this scene, I do feel like this also shows the downfall or like negatives to using CGI is just because they use the same location models within this episode. The location where they fought the Krang after Krang fought Leatherhead was where the turtles popped out from, and then the sewers that was run down was also the one which I was looking through all the Krang bodies to find Power Cell. So I do feel like that's like a downside to using CGI just because they are very limited to the locations and stuff which they can do. Um, But like that's really my only negative about this little scene. Other than that, I did really enjoy this one.
Yeah, to be honest, I never
But then you
even
do
knew
have.
that they reused the same scene.
Oh yeah. There's one alleyway which they. So it's more or less like the location for this whole series will either be the Toll's Lair, a rooftop, an alleyway, or will be Shredder's Lair. Those are the most common locations which you will see the turtles. And like even though they sort of like try to make it out to be all like a different part of the city and all that, they don't really do much to change like the rooftops or the alleyway or the streets. It literally just it's just one asset type thing.
Hmm, never knew that.
You'll start to see it soon. So yeah, the next scene, which is probably one of the best scenes in the episode, was the Toes come home to Leatherhead and ask him about the Krang, and he doesn't really give too many answers. But then they show him the power cell, and he goes all berserk, starts fighting with the turtles. Master Splinter comes in, he has a fight with Leatherhead, and then Leatherhead leaves. What did you think about these amazing scenes? And do you think that this is possibly the best part of the episode?
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, it was a good episode. Like when the turtles got back and Mikey said he was all like mellow and all that, and of course he says, "Oh, I unchained him," and then of course you just and everyone's like turned around, and of course Leatherhead, he's just standing there, and I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of kind of cute. He's like just standing there. He's like got a pot of like Mikey's spaghetti pizza, whatever. And then of course he's just smiling. He's happy to be there, and he's just a good guy overall. Like he's a nice character. He's a good person to talk to, be around, and he's just all inclusive. And then of course he got his little smile. That was cool. And then of course the turtles just go absolutely berserk on Mikey, and then and of course we found out what Leatherhead's trigger word was, and I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of my trigger word too. When it comes to this, like the Krang, you immediately go like, oh dear, that's a trigger word. But that is a trigger word for me and Leatherhead. So I could see me and him we're very close. Like his character, my character, we're very similar when it comes to this. So that's also another reason why I like Leatherhead, because he's so similar to what I am. But it was just
He's
it was
so
just
you.
it was just a he's so me. I was like, he doesn't like the Krang. He doesn't like to be he doesn't like the Krang. That is the major thing. And of course he doesn't like to be disturbed sometimes. And of course the trigger words like Krang, it is literally me, but in a crocodile mutant's body. That's literally what it is. But that scene was just I really enjoyed it. It was kinda cool to see Leatherhead, like nice side, I guess you can call that. But it
Yeah.
was just really, really cool just to see him like that. It was just so good.
Hmm. What do you think of the fight between Toes and Leatherhead?
That fight scene, I'm not gonna lie, the turtles got absolutely like annihilated, to be honest. Like Leatherhead is a strong character as well, but I'm not gonna lie, surely they fight they fought against Chris Bradford, they fought against Cypher, they fought against um like the Krang. Surely they could easily coordinate and overpower Leatherhead, but I guess they were taken by surprise, and which I can understand, and that's my little nitpick about this thing. Like he's powerful and all that, I get that, but surely you could have taken him down, or at least Mikey could have calmed him down like he did before. Like surely that would have been an option.
Okay. Oh. And the last one. Splinter versus Leatherhead.
That I'm not gonna lie, hands down, that was probably one of the best scenes in. in this episode. Like, we haven't seen Splinter fight before. Well, not as far as we've seen so far, but for me, that was just epic. That I just saw Splinter finally use his ability to fight, and of course, he's fighting Leatherhead, and that's the first actual fight scene we get to see with Shredder. And that I just love that. Just how Shredder just dodges his attacks, and how he just does it like with ease.
Yeah.
Like he gets out the way before it even happens, and that was probably one of my best scenes in there. Like I was like, oh my god, he's actually doing it. He's actually fighting Leatherhead, and he's actually fighting himself. And it was just so good to see that he's not going to be standing around and teaching the turtles all the time. He's actually going to fight as well, which really got me excited.
Okay. Well, I have to say with the Leatherhead rage thing, like overall from like a serious perspective, I wish they would have done more with this because they don't really do anything with Leatherhead's rage. He just say the word Krang and then his rage is out, and it's all annoying me just because never really done anything with it. Because in the 2003 show, they had him as like a normal character, and then he was tortured, and then that's how he got his rage. And then you don't ever know, like a few episodes, you learn how he dealt with his rage. But in the show, they don't really do anything with the rage, so a little bit disappointed with that. But the fight between Leatherhead and the turtles, I thought this was a really good scene just to show just Leatherhead off in general, because he was able to show off all of his skills and just be. I think it's actually probably the closest thing we'll ever get to him being like a proper crocodile, being a mutant. I mean, like from snapping at Donnie, doing the death roll thing. I just thought it was like a really good way of just showing off all his like abilities and skills, which he can use on his enemies. Um, but then get to the Splinter and Leatherhead thing, and up until this point in the show, I do think this is probably this was like the coolest thing in the TMNT franchise, just because I mean, one is a fight between two fan favorite characters. That's something we should always like to see, and then also like one of those sort of things where like well, just because I feel like it's always going to be like one of those sort of questions which people have for like many different characters, like, oh, who would win this character or this character? So yeah, and then also like as you already said, this is Splinter's first proper fight in the show, and he's just such a badass. I'm pretty sure you can agree with this, and this whole scene in general is just one of the best.
Yes, I can agree with you.
Okay, so Mikey runs off to go and try and find Leatherhead, and then Mikey does, and Leatherhead talks about his backstory.
Ah, that was a good scene. Like, of course, we see Leatherhead's like personal side come out, and it was just really good to see how this character has so much history and backstory behind him. It's pretty
Mm.
cool to see that there's a lot of time and effort that has gone into this character, and I just love it. Like his character is so unique to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle series, and he's just opening up. He's emotional, he's complex, and it's just an incredible character. And of course, he explains to him that, oh, I can't control my rage because the Krang did it to me, and it was just, it was really, really cool to see how Mikey connected with Leatherhead, unlike other characters where Chris Bradford and Mikey had the relationship, but it was fake. But this relationship that they have it's genuine, it's real, and I just really wish that Leatherhead would. I'm not gonna lie, it's probably going to be happening soon. I hope so because I really want to see it happen. Leatherhead and Mikey like fight like the enemy together, like the bosses, the Shredder, the Krang, all of that. I wish they would just do like a episode with them, like they go out vigilante style and they just do that. That would
Mm.
be an awesome episode to watch.
Oh, there is one like tiny little scene at the very or near the end of the show where and see Mikey riding Leatherhead.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is good.
I'll just say that the like even though I enjoyed the scene with Leatherhead opening up to Mikey, as it does show. I mean, you probably put it best with him, like open up and be more emotional and stuff like that. I do think that's really good show for his character, but at the same time, I feel like his backstory was never, even though it was more just it just told us what happened, and we didn't really expand on it too much because like this whole story is an amazing one to really expand upon and really make you like really feel for the character. And I do feel like maybe they could have expanded on it a little bit more. I'm not exactly too sure how, but yeah. But the art style for this whole backstory, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was really. It has its own unique art style, which really works well for this episode. And like one thing, okay, so to the viewers out here, this is a few weeks pre-recorded, but basically last night on Instagram, the person who was basically the main reason why this whole show was created, he revealed that basically all the flashbacks are drawn by the people who are directing the episode and do storyboards. So that's the reason why this little backstory is in different art style to like episode 3 with Hamato Yoshi and all that. But I do think that does work or like in the show's favour. It shows for like this is Leatherhead's story and not one of the other characters' or main character story. Um, but yeah, and then after that we
That is
got the
cool.
Krang. Then after that we got the Krang who come in and start attacking the subway car. So Donnie puts in the power cell and goes off into I think it's a sewer plant, and that's more or less where the episode ends. What do you think of this scene?
This scene was, I'm not gonna lie, like Donnie's mind is like, we will never understand the working mind of Donnie on how he can just put an alien device into like a train and it goes like super speed, like ludicrous speed, and it's just, I don't understand how that works,
Unrealistic.
but unrealistic in the slightest. But it's a really cool scene as well to see. Of course, Leatherhead's fighting them off, which is another great scene because I love the Krang being beaten and just seeing Leatherhead going to town on them. And then of course the really weird thing is that I don't know if it was or it wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but when they went like super speed or light speed or whatever you want to call it, like they went through this weird like vortex, and of course I saw an eye, like it's not like a normal eye in the
Oh
series,
yeah, I
but
saw
like an
that.
actual human eye. And I was trying to figure out what is that? Is that, I really did not know. Was it like an expansion of the universe, or well, it was something? I was like, I just didn't know what to think of it, to be honest. But it was really
Yeah,
weird
I don't
seeing
know
that.
either. I think that maybe it might be on trivia. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
But yeah, I'll just say that this scene I found a little bit weird in a way. So the Krang, when they find the turtles, it felt like they were more stronger than usual. I mean, like the Krang were able to push past a few of the turtles holding the door, and then once they were cut off their limbs, they were only then able to like use them. Even though in previous episodes we've seen this sort of thing happen, and yeah, the turtles or like the Krang don't really use their body afterwards. So I do feel like the Krang were maybe a bit overpowered in the scene, but I feel like it still works for the scene. And then Leatherhead giving Mikey the power cell, he really puts a lot of trust in Mikey. I know that like it's a good thing for like, the story and everything, but at the same
Yeah,
time it's Mikey.
it's Mikey. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Mikey has his eureka moments, like back in previous
Yeah.
episodes, but I wouldn't give Mikey a alien power source which could, explode or, could be lost. But who knows? Who cares? But it's really good to see Leatherhead opening up to Mikey and just seeing that like relationship bloom, like their friendship bloom, and it was kind of one of those pure moments, that the pure innocent moments, you know, like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
this is so cool and awesome at the same time. Like, it was just one of those moments, and I really enjoyed that. It was just really, really good to see that happen.
Mm.
But it's Mikey at
Well,
the end of the day, so
yeah. And then also the final scene. As a kid, I mean, you know when the turtle's looking at the sewer plant. For some reason, as a kid, I always thought the turtles went to like a different dimension or something like that, and I was always just so confused with that scene. Just because just because in the next episode, like they're back in the lair, and I always thought, wait, did I miss something or that? But like now I'm watching it
yeah,
older. I mean, like it didn't help with like I mean, like all the eye thing didn't really help that much. I mean, the whole scene was like, even though it's a really simple one, the turtles just going out the sewers and into streets, it was just so confusing for me. And I mean, I'm pretty sure, were you confused by it?
it was just really, really confusing. Like, and I'm just going off on a tangent here, but how did the rail cart get onto the city streets and to the sewer
I
plant?
think
I'm trying to understand. Like, did they fall off the tracks? Did they teleport? Did they how did they not like crash into any other
I just
building?
think that
That's what
maybe
I want to find out.
I think train was just going at like such a speed, like because I know that some tracks like the turn. I think it was just going at such a speed like it couldn't turn, just went off the rails and hit the wall, went onto the streets. But even so, that they could have killed so many people if
Oh
there was on the
yeah, for
streets.
sure.
I mean, like
Yeah,
they
I
killed
was
like
trying to
so many
figure out how.
Krang.
Yeah, like the Krang we don't mind, but civilians, like how is no one injured or hurt or even worse, dead? Like how? Unless we don't see that side of things, and
Krang lives matter.
no, no, Krang lives do not matter. They can no, that is not
Uh,
happening.
yeah. What do you think about this episode overall?
This episode, like I said at the start, was to by far one of the best episodes up there, like in my top 10 episodes. Like, it was really up there, like, because of the characters that we found, and just the story overall was just really, really good and laid out. Like, sometimes other episodes have really bad storytelling and really bad, like, storyboards and how they're laid out, but this episode, they really put a lot of effort in, and that's what I love about this episode. Like, they put in the effort for this character. They used like a lot of stuff to create this environment, the friendships, and it was just really, really thought out, and that's why I love this episode so
Mm.
much. And of course, the Krang got beaten by Leatherhead, who is who's pretty badass in my opinion. Like, you got Splinter, Chris Bradford, and then you got Leatherhead. Like, come on, they're got to be up there on the list.
Yeah, I'd say that overall this episode, I do think it was probably one of the best ones. Like, I'll say that this also would go on my top 10 list. I, I want to put it as like my number one spot. However, I feel like for me, I still feel like episode 9 was probably better. But like, I mean, that's only because it feels better to put number 9 there. But this episode was just amazing, and I do think that also I think maybe another reason why this story or this episode overall is so much better than all the other ones is just because this story is not like any of the other ones in terms of being more emotional, darker, and stuff like that. All the other ones are just like pretty basic type story, which you can more or less put into any other show. But this one, it really feels like a total episode. But yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so here are some comments about this episode. So from last run, they said this episode I did enjoy. I like how they introduced Leatherhead and how sad he is with the Krang experimenting on him, which reminds me of something that happened in the 2003 show. We've got Alexandra Stefansi. I'm pretty sure I'm saying the name wrong, so I'm really sorry. They say love that epic moment. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's because I put the one of the best things about it was he grabbed him by the face. So they're commenting saying that I love that. They love that moment. The whole episode was epic. The purple rage at Levelhead. Oh no. Oh. Oh wait, I read it wrong. The pure rage that Leatherhead shows against Krang is beautiful. Even the mentioning those guys' name was more info to make more than enough to make him go berserk. And I love me some berserk characters, especially against those parasites. Seems like you have another friend who
Oh
hates the
my
Krang.
god. Yes. Welcome to the club. Yes. What's that guy's name again?
His first name is Alexandra. I can't say his last name.
Alexander, mate. Welcome to the team. Yes. We will grow in numbers, Lewis. The Krang lives do not matter. Will go. It will explode, and because Krang it's just Krang, you know. It's just Krang, all right. It's no one likes the Krang, so I appreciate that, my guy. Keep the faith.
Okay, well, the organic water 95078, they put three words: Donny face grab. And that's all he really needs to say about this episode to really get
That's all
an
he said.
understanding. Yeah.
Oh,
We've got
Donny face grab.
we've
That's
got
all it
freelance.
was. That is funny.
Yeah, I mean that's no, okay. So
Just no context, no
okay,
nothing.
so no, okay. So basically, in like a few years, after watching all the other episodes, and you hear he grabbed me by the face, you'll think of this episode. It's one of those really iconic lines that's not really that iconic. I mean, even though the line "he grabbed me by the face" is not really that iconic, but like, when you hear it, you'll be thinking of this episode. It's just that type of line.
Mm, definitely.
Okay, so Freelance Wolf has returned and put best Mikey episode in my opinion. Loving starting relationship with Leatherhead and shows how he's willing to see the good in anyone. Raph threatening to turn him into a bag if he laid a hand on his little brother. I love his soft moments. Yeah, I feel like this
I agree with that.
like yeah, I feel like that's really like going into more reasons why this episode is so good, as well as probably like some reasons why Mikey's good, but not really helping his character. And then we have this person who I already sent you a picture of the person's name. I really hate periods. They reply or commented.
Sorry.
You heard it correctly. I really hate periods.
All right. Yep.
So I put great. Okay, so they put a great episode with a lot of funny moments. Love that part where Mikey was explaining to Splinter about how they found Leatherhead, and also when Leo and Donnie thought Raph got decapitated. Lol. Which yeah. I
Yeah.
just don't think anyone can really read that comment, and I mean, even though people agree with you, it's just definitely better to get past that name.
Yeah. That name's gonna stick. But I do agree with you what they've said. Like it's a really good one for that. But maybe keep it PG.
Okay, do you want to hear some trivia now?
Let's hear some trivia.
Okay, this episode was originally going to be titled Leatherhead. Well, that would have been like a pretty decent title.
Yeah, I'll
According to the
like that.
according to the show writer Kenny Berlin, the ugly, stinky place that Mikey thinks is beautiful, but hotels end up after the wild subway ride, was originally not a sewage plant, but New Jersey. I thought that
No
should be
way,
like
New
more.
Jersey.
Yeah, I feel like that should be more of a. Uh, uh, well, I feel like for us that because I mean just because like we don't live in America, it's not really that won't be as funny. But
It
I
doesn't
know for
affect
some people
us,
they'll.
but some
If
people
it was
who
in
are
America,
watching this right
it would
now,
be different.
yeah, people will be. I think people would
There's
have
some
some
errors.
some comments.
Yeah. Okay, so for errors, in the Russian dub, when Donnie reminds Mikey that Leatherhead grabbed him by the face, he spoke in Leo's voice.
What?
Yeah, okay, wait, I need to read that again. In the Russian dub, when Donnie reminds Mikey that Leatherhead grabbed him by the face, he spoke in Leo's voice.
I did not know that.
Oh, in the 80s show, it's so much worse. Just because characters, it's just the Turtles. They'll change their elbow pads because in that show they had the Turtles Forever when you got to see the other Turtles and had the elbow pads were like red for Raph and blue for Leo. Do you
Yeah.
remember those characters?
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah, yeah.
in the show, they were constantly changing colours, and then the voices they wouldn't match up with the characters. There's just a lot of scenes like that throughout the whole show, and then like one worst case was in I think it was episode 3, where you had 3 Raphaels fighting a character.
Yep. As you do.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so for the cast, we have Donatello by Rob Paulson, McCran by Nolan North, Lino by Jason Biggs, Michelangelo by Greg Sykes, Raphael by Sean Astin, you've got Silverworker by Nolan North, Captain Ryan by Brian Bloom, Crankshaw by Scott Menville, Splinter by Hoon Lee. Oh, Crankshaw. Oh, wait, do you know who Scott Menville is?
Why does that ring a bell?
Have you seen the 2003 Teen Titans show?
Oh my god! Please tell me he's in that.
Yeah, he's Robin.
Oh my god! No way! Oh
Yeah.
my god, that is. I would have never. To be honest, it's been too long. Like I haven't seen the Teen Titans that series in like ages, and I was and oh my god, like why am I'm kicking myself for it. Like oh my god, that is. I never knew. It's been so long since I've watched it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 other characters, which I'm just looking on there, like, we'll see what other things they've done. So we've got Jodie to the Max, the news reporter, by Carrie Catherine Wallergreen. Okay, so they are an actress born in 1977. What else is it? Provide English language voices for dozens of anime titles and video games. The debut role was for the main character of FLCL Roku Horana. She had a live action role in. They made a live action Tinkerbell thing in 2003. Hmm.
I don't
She
remember
provided the
that.
voices. I don't remember them doing something like
Hmm.
that. But, she provided the voice of supporting characters in Mindy, the 2008 Walt Disney. Bolt. Roku in Genshin Overall FLC. Computer program Gene in 2009 TV pilot Variety or Virtuality. She's in Adventures in was that no? Hang on. As you can, she starred in Disney XD show kicks, Butt Rasky, someone Daredevil as Honey Butsky, Disney Channel show Fish Hooks as Bee's friend Sheila, and yeah. Oh my god! She played the voice of Tigress in the Kung Fu Panda: Legend of Awesomeness.
No way.
Wow. Yeah.
No
She also
way.
does the voice of Susie Johnson in Phineas and Verb,
Oh
and
my
Molly
god.
in the
That
Netflix,
is...
and Molly in Chicken Run 2. Wow.
What? Oh my god, we have a
Yeah.
celeb on our hands.
They're all celebrities. It's just like some more famous than others, and
Yeah,
wow.
definitely. Like, they're all celebrities in their own right, but wow, I did not know that. Like, to be honest, I really did not know the voice until you actually said it, and now I can actually picture the two together. And it's just been so long since I've seen it all, but now it's all coming together, and my head's about to explode because I don't know what's going on. But this is cool. Like,
Okay, so for
oh my
Leatherhead.
god, that's such good voices.
Okay, so for Leatherhead, we've got Peter Hill Lurie. He was born in 1962. He's an American television personality, sports anchor, and voice actor who's worked on several television shows, movies, and dubbed animes since the mid 90s. He's well known for the voice of Vulcan Raven in the Metal Gear Solid video game series and the Marvel Comics supervillain Sabretooth. He's currently works on HRTV anchor as a house host for Fairplex Park. I feel like it's been way more than just that. I'm going to check on
Mm,
DB because how do I spell his name? um,
that
Louis.
would help.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I feel like I've seen him more things than Turtles. Okay. Okay, well, he's been in 135 things, so that's decent. Okay, in Ultimate Alliance, he's played, well, in Ultimate Alliance, he's played Juggernaut. Let's see, it was in Naruto as Hashima Senji. World of
Nice.
Warcraft Legion, he was in that. Well, I think, I was in Skylanders.
Skylanders?
Prime's Break. I think that's how you say it.
Oh my
Um,
god.
he's in Spider-Man, who was in Ultimate Spider-Man, who was the Sabretooth. Who's in Last of Us. What else? It seems like he's been in quite a lot. Oh, he's been in Star Wars: The Old Republic video game in 2011.
My god, that is
Um, Red Faction Gorilla, that's another video game. Wolverine the
already been
X-Men,
in
who was
tons.
Sabretooth in that. Metal Gear Solid. Um, just try and find things in here which you probably have seen or played.
Hmm.
It was in Superman Returns video game as Riot, the citizen of Metropolis. It was in the Batman TV show. Um, it's in American Dad.
Huh.
It,
Been
it
in a
seems
lot of things
it
then.
seems like it. Yeah, it seems like it's been more video games than TV shows.
Hmm.
But either way, he's still got he still has probably one of the best voices. I'm not exactly too sure who other characters or other people that had for like auditioning for Leatherhead, but I feel like Peter Lurier's voice for this version of Leatherhead, it works so well for the character. But
Definitely.
yeah, so yeah, that's it for this one. Do you have any like final thoughts on this one?
Well, this episode was really good. I thought it was one of the best out of the top 10 in my list at the moment, but was really good and just an awesome episode. And just Leatherhead is just one of my new favourite characters. Like, sure, you got Splinter and Chris Bradford, but Chris Bradford
They're
could
not the
be
same.
overtaken by Leatherhead.
They're not the
Who
same.
knows? But They're not the same. They're not the same. One's got a heart and one's got a stone cold heart. There's a big difference, but honestly, I really enjoyed this episode. Really fun to watch. Really, really well played out. Really good storytelling and scene layouts. Just a really good episode just to watch and just look at. It was just so satisfying.
Okay, so for next week's episode, is called I Monster. What do you think's gonna happen in that episode?
I Monster. I don't know why, but for a sec I thought it was like Monsters Inc. Like I Monster, Monster Inc. I don't know where that came from, but just popped into my head. But I Monster. Maybe it's like something to do with a new monster that we're gonna see who's got an eye, or is it like is it spelled I as in like an eyeball, or is it just like I as in I am?
I am.
I am. So I Monster. I Monster. I think it's something to do with a new character, or something of a monster belonging to something or someone, perhaps. I'm not too sure. That's what I'm going off the lines upon, but I Monster.
Actually
These
quite
names
close,
are getting
actually.
very... Really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, like,
okay.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, your description. If you were to look, if you were to look at the episode from like a different angle, then you are correct in a way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
Also,
going with that one.
and then the best part about it is no Krang.
Oh, thank the heavens. No Krang. That's good. That's going to be a good episode then.
Wait a minute, I want to double check because I remember quickly got no Krang for quite a few weeks or for a while actually. But not okay, let's get list of episodes up. Okay, so next week the week after, no. You got 2 weeks without Krang.
Oh, God, that's going to be peace. Just peaceful.
And then Krang.
Instead of hearing, and then Krang. Just hearing those voices. That's
You're gonna rage
just,
out.
oh. It's literally just, it's Krang. No, it's just
Liverhead is
Krang.
just a mood right now for you.
Leatherhead is a mood. It is literally a mood. It's a mood right now. It is literally a mood. But overall, it's just really, really good. I've just loved it.
Okay, well, yeah, that's all of it for today. Like we've already mentioned at the beginning of the episode, if you do want to come on, leave a comment, then you can go to the community page on YouTube or the YouTube videos. You can leave it on the Reddit post, which I put out every week. You can send in a voice message or a little text message through Anchor, and we'll read it out or listen to it on the podcast. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today, guys. Yeah, I've been Teddy.
And I've been Hayden.
And we'll see you next time. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.